The biggest tax bill in a generation just passed, and no one's talking about who gets hit hardest because it doesn't hit equally. This isn't theory. It's signed, sealed, and already reshaping the map. I'm about to show you 5 cities that will get rocked the most by Trump's one big beautiful bill, some in ways you won't believe. And when you see what's buried deep in the fine print, you'll understand why this might be the start of the biggest wealth shift in America since the 1980s. Look, you've heard about tax cuts before, but this isn't just about taxes. This bill quietly changes the rules for housing, healthcare, charity, factory jobs, and even where people can afford to live. Some cities, they're gonna explode with opportunity. Others are just gonna get gutted. Stay with me until the end because I'm gonna show you the 3 metros already seeing a migration spike before the mainstream even catches on. So let's count down the 5 cities with the most to lose or gain from this monster bill. Number 5, New York City. New York seems to be in every list. New York just got a sugar high though, with a hidden crash baked in. On paper, they win. The new SALT deduction cap jumps from $10,000 to $40,000, letting wealthy homeowners write off more taxes for 5 years. SALT stands for, by the way, state and local taxes. It's the amount you pay to your state and city that you can deduct from your federal tax bill. But here's the thing, if you make over $500,000, you don't get the break at all. And in 2030, the deduction cap snaps back to $10,000, meaning that regardless of how much you actually pay in state and local taxes, you'll only be able to deduct up to $10,000 from your federal taxes. So Manhattan gets a 5-year window of relief before a potential housing whiplash. Meanwhile, CBO projects millions could lose Medicaid under the new work requirements. And here's what most headlines skip. These aren't lazy people losing coverage. All of those lazy people will lose coverage. I'm talking about the ones that are often already working, but in jobs with inconsistent hours, no HR department, or no formal pay stubs. Others are caring for family or dealing with health issues and may simply miss the newly required recertification paperwork. The new rules say 80 hours a month of work, school, or volunteering. And if you don't report it perfectly, you're out. And that's not crazy to ask, but it's a massive shift, and it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. And guess where the largest Medicaid population in the US lives? Yeah, New York. And their hospitals, already stretched, are now preparing for a tsunami of uncovered patients. Number 4, Phoenix, Arizona. And this one might surprise you. Phoenix is booming thanks to TSMC, Intel, and the chip manufacturing gold rush. And this bill pours gasoline on that fire. 100% capital expensing for new factories, meaning companies can deduct the full cost of buildings and equipment up front instead of over time, giving them a huge incentive to build fast. Developers are already scrambling for land. But here's what the headlines won't tell you. Phoenix is also one of the most SNAP-dependent metros in the West. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, what used to be called food stamps. And the new work requirement combined with cost sharing for states means Arizona could see tens of thousands drop off food aid. Not because they don't qualify, but because they can't navigate the red tape. Just like Medicaid, it's not always about whether someone's willing to work. It's whether they can prove it on time in the right format while juggling everything else. But that's life. We're all juggling stuff every day. Massive upside in real estate though, but also massive risk of instability. Number 3, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta's future just got murky. On one hand, donors just lost a chunk of their tax benefits. Itemized deductions now cap out at 35% for top earners. Translation, Georgia's biggest philanthropists, who've powered local nonprofits and HBCUs, are suddenly disincentivized to give. Add to that a Medicaid population facing new work requirements, and you've got a potential public health and charity funding crisis. Meanwhile, the city's growing school voucher movement gets a boost with brand new tax credits for private K-12 scholarships. This isn't just a shift, it's a cultural earthquake for Atlanta's public institutions. Number 2, Houston, Texas. Oil country just hit the jackpot. The one big beautiful bill makes capital investment fully expensable again, permanently. For Houston, that means new rigs, refineries, LNG terminals, and jobs. But don't pop the champagne yet. Texas never expanded Medicaid, so the bill's work requirements and funding cuts hit harder here than almost anywhere else. That means rural hospitals and inner city clinics could get crushed under unpaid ER visits. Houston may gain on the business side and lose big on the human side. Number 1, can you guess? Los Angeles. Seems to be on every list as well. No city will feel this more than LA. And here's why. The SALT cap relief helps on paper, but phases out for high earners. The 35% deduction cap hits Hollywood's donor class. The Medicaid work rules plus SNAP tightening, devastating in immigrant-heavy districts. But the death blow? This bill guts most of the Biden-era clean energy credits. LA had become the epicenter of solar, EV infrastructure, and green retrofit jobs. Those just got kneecapped. But let's be honest, how serious was LA really about green energy when they still face rolling blackouts every summer? And it can take years to get a permit for rooftop solar. That gap between ambition and execution is part of the problem. And yet, the cost of living here keeps climbing. LA's middle class was already disappearing. Now, the latter may be gone entirely. And this isn't about red versus blue, it's about math. That's it. The one big beautiful bill shifts billions across the country, and it's creating new winners and new losers in ways most Americans haven't realized yet. Yes, it asks for more personal accountability, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I like that part. But even good rules can cause real shockwaves when they hit fast and hard. If you live in a major city, this isn't just politics. It's your paycheck, your rent, your hospital, your kid's school. You know, back in 2015, Illinois cut Medicaid funding so sharply that thousands of residents lost coverage overnight. Not because they didn't qualify, but because the system couldn't process their paperwork fast enough. One of them was Veronica, a single mom on the south side of Chicago. She worked 2 part-time jobs, cared for her elderly mom, and never missed a beat until her 9-year-old son broke his arm. She took him to the ER and was told her Medicaid account was inactive. Not because she did anything wrong, but because she hadn't responded to a notice that she said never arrived. That one event buried her in debt, wrecked her credit, and forced her to move in with family. And that's one of the risks people don't see coming. Not a bad economy, not bad decisions, just one policy shift, hitting someone who didn't move fast enough, yet hitting all of the people that didn't deserve it too. So while the media argues over red versus blue, folks like Veronica are just trying to survive the fallout. But while some cities scramble, others are already cashing in. Dallas-Fort Worth, Columbus, these metros are winning the factory sweepstakes. States with low taxes, low compliance burden, and pro-growth mayors are positioning to win big from this bill. Investors who understand this shift are already snapping up rental properties, land, and commercial space. If you want to position yourself on the right side of this before the migration wave hits, don't wait. But before you set out to become the next real estate mogul chasing these profits, there are mistakes you're going to want to avoid, because one wrong move can wipe out everything. Real estate is actually one of the easiest games to win, and the safest too, if you just avoid a few common traps. That's why I made this video right here. It breaks down the biggest mistakes that I made with my first 10 rental properties, so you don't have to learn the hard way or the expensive way. So if you want to ride this wealth shift instead of getting run over by it, watch this next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.